Justin Hayes here, superhumanpursuits.com. Wanted to talk to you guys today about self-myofascial release for the quad area. The tools that I use in this area are PVC roller, and like we talked about before, that's just a firmer version of a foam roller made out of a piece of PVC. The TB Therapy quad baller, and for length reasons, some of the videos that I've been making have kind of getting a little bit longer than I would like. So remember that the techniques that I use with this guy will be identical to the ones I would use with the PVC roller, and also in turn with the foam roller. Another instrument here, the Theracane. I use the straight edge on the Theracane, but at the same time, I also use the edge that has a little nodule in it, and I'll show you those techniques here in a second. Before I've showed you guys, the softball and the lacrosse ball, for me personally, in this area, I prefer the softball. I don't think that you get enough leverage off the floor, meaning the distance between the bottom of this ball and the start of your quadricep muscle. I don't think that you get enough leverage there to kind of put pressure. So I prefer the softball, but I have seen people use this. Remember, the techniques are the same. Go ahead and give it a whirl. A tennis ball, which is very similar in size to a lacrosse ball, it won't work at all really for the quad region because there's not enough pressure. The ball will kind of collapse and it won't really provide any release for you. So the other thing is the knobbler, or the thumb and hands. There's a lot of manual techniques you can use in this area. I'll go over some very simple ones and show you guys what works with that. Alright, so first up here is the TB Therapy quad baller. Like I mentioned before in the intro, the techniques that I use with this guy also apply to the PVC roller, the foam roller, or any other rolling instrument that you would use. So think about that when applying your own techniques. Nothing crazy here. You're just rolling from the top of the quad muscle down. And you can kind of, lean out and lean kind of the other direction to get different results, get access to different areas. Now, to kind of take this up a notch and progress, you can pull your heel to your butt here, and what that's going to do is lengthen the quad muscle, and it'll be more of a progression. So this will apply more pressure and give you access to different areas. Now, if you've noticed, my right foot here has been kind of down on the ground. I don't know if you guys can actually see the full length of my foot, but it is down on the ground. But what you can do is you can kind of cross those legs over, and that's going to apply a great deal more pressure. And to take it up a notch, you could also keep this right foot, this whole right leg off the ground, and take this leg back, and so it's almost like there's no points of contact except for on the actual tool that you're rolling. So that would be the highest level progression. That's going to apply the most pressure here to this area. So let's drop that out here. Softball. This guy is going to be a little bit more focal than the quad baller or PVC roller rolling device. It kind of gets into different areas that you wouldn't be able to reach with those, so it's definitely using these two in conjunction with each other is a good idea. But the concepts for the ball are identical to the roller. It's just you're using it in this area, you're taking yourself in and out, finding different things, and you can pull the leg up. You could overlap the leg. It's a little more difficult. You see me losing my balance there. A little bit more difficult with this guy. And then you can kind of plank with it too. But the progressions here with this guy, meaning as you lengthen the muscle and pull your ankle back to your butt or overlap your legs, that's going to apply a significant amount of pressure. So don't head in that direction until you kind of master the basics. Let me go ahead and change up the angle, and I'll show you guys the Theracane. Alright, so I've switched to the seated position here, and that's because when I use the Theracane on the quad, I prefer to be seated because the seat kind of provides support underneath the leg here and gives you something to push down against. And at the same time, you also have back support as well to kind of leverage this. So using the straight edge, same principles as other areas of the body. You're just taking the straight edge here and running it along the muscle. Now I like to use the theracane at the endpoints of the quad muscles, so meaning closer to the knee and closer back to the groin. I feel like it can address those areas better than, say, the TP therapy quad baller, a PVC roller, or any of the balls that I previously used. So I like to use it in those areas, give it a whirl yourself. And now the other straight edge with the little knob on it, that's more for direct pressure to a point that you've identified. So if you have a trigger inside of this area, inside your quad area, you can kind of use the cane as leverage and put that inside of a trigger inside of it, in your quad muscle. And you're just kind of sticking, or sometimes I like to rotate a little bit just in that area. Now the knobbler, same concept as the knob on the theracane, is that when you find a trigger point that you need to directly address, you can use this guy. And a lot of times what will happen is that you'll be rolling around either on a ball or the PVC roller there, or the TP quad baller, and you'll find an area that you know is sensitive and might be trigged up, but you can't necessarily address it with that tool. So that's when you would come to more of a manual manipulation tool like the knobbler, and you kind of, you say, I identified an area in my quad, but I couldn't quite get to it. Well, you pull this guy out, and then there you are. You can kind of pinpoint any different region on your quad. So that's all the tips and techniques that I have for this area. I'd love to hear any suggestions that you guys might have. And if you have any questions or feedback in general, please leave a comment below or hit me up on Twitter. Talk to you guys later.